Real Life NYC. What's going on, guys? We are back with the second episode in season 3, and with me I have Drew,
the legendary Drew Sauce,
legendary Drew Sauce,
two-timer, technically 3-timer,
OG real lifer, and also our special guest today joining us is none other than Josh Colop.
Thank you.
Everybody
you
give it up for Josh
Appreciate
Colop. Yes.
Thank you.
Josh. Come on now. Come on. All right, guys. Relax.
All right.
Guys.
Okay, guys.
They
Okay,
need to.
so,
lady in the back, sit down.
Yes. We understand you're excited. We
saw
understand.
that. You
He
saw
is
that.
married. He is taken.
Exactly.
Please. There we go. Okay.
Appreciate ya.
And, well, Gabriel,
Yes.
Josh Colop, but everyone calls him Josh.
Call me Josh.
Right? That's your middle name, right?
That's my middle name.
Middle name.
Yeah.
And we welcome you guys back to the second episode in season 3. We kicked it off, and so much great feedback from the last time meeting Cash and Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Those two are just a ball of energy, and they were like amazing on Friday.
Oh yeah.
If you were there, you got to meet them. They were amazing.
Dude, tell me about that night, man.
In Real Life NYC reimagined and back for the first time since the pandemic. It was an incredible night. Just packed with fun, packed with energy, with the word of God, fellowship, friendship. It was just amazing from start to end.
I mean, I could say the same thing. I was there. I just wanted to hear him say it.
Exactly. Exactly. We were there.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to see something that we never tried before. We did it, and it was a huge hit with the kids.
Definitely.
It was a success, man. It was great.
That sounds awesome.
And
man.
we're looking forward. If you weren't there last week, please make sure you're there. If you are in junior high school, ages 12 all the way up to 19, you guys are welcome to come join us next week. We're doing it every other Friday.
Sounds
I can
dope.
guarantee you that it is the best and most energetic after school activity that you can do. Like, even if you have a club, it's late enough where it's like you can go right after.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just turned 19 too, so.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Thank you. I didn't want to
Real
say
life
anything.
newcomer. Let's go.
Let's go, man. And you know, Josh was a part of the team here. He's a part of the worship team.
It's an honor, man. It's an honor.
And that's actually something that we're going to jump into today.
All
We're
right.
going to jump into
Let's do it.
worship. We're going to jump into family. We're going to get to know Josh on a personal level.
All right.
Because, you know, real life is not just about having fun, right?
Yeah.
It's not about just having a great time, enjoying ourselves, but it's about building a family, right?
Oh yeah.
That's right. That's right.
We're a part of this big family, and shout out to Pastor John, who's
Yeah.
head of the house here, the shepherd
He made it possible.
for Bethlehem Church, and he's made all this that you see, all this that you experience has been because of his leadership.
That's right.
The way that he's paved the way that he believes in what we're doing, and we partner with him and his vision for the church,
right.
and we
Definitely.
just come together, and we're just expanding.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
over the years, like the things that we've been able to do,
Mhm.
even across the world, touching nations and the community that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And,
Real life may seem big, but it's such a small part of what we actually get to do.
Oh yeah, and that's Bethlehem Church. And if you guys aren't part of Bethlehem Church, we invite you, the parents of the students that are listening.
Oh, seriously.
We
man.
we invite you. You are family to us when you walk through those doors.
Yeah, you're literally inviting Josh right now.
Yes,
right. That's
yes,
right.
we invite you,
Yeah.
Josh. So Josh, why don't you introduce yourself formally to the people? Let them know who you are and how. Like, let's get into how you found out about Bethlehem Church and what that whole experience was like joining the family here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, first and foremost, thanks for having me. You know, I mean,
Come on, man.
You guys are.
This was
like,
a long time coming, bro.
Oh yeah, I
Dude.
mean, sure. I mean,
The
I'm
seat
glad,
is yours.
you know,
It was
yeah.
reserved, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a blessing being part of Bethlehem Church. I love the team. I love our worship director. You know, Carrie.
Shout out to Pastor Carrie.
That's
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Pastor Carrie and
He holds it
married.
down.
They're amazing people I look up to. You know, they're spiritual parents that I definitely I look up to, and I'm learning a lot. You know, being under their leadership, definitely learning a lot of what it is to lead worship, and it's simply not just leading a song. You know, and I greatly appreciate what they've been doing at our church. But yeah, I mean, honestly, just going back a little, I mean, I remember 5 years ago, my wife and I, we were in search of a church, you know, more so of a home. We were looking for a home.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
You know, and so her and I, we started praying on it. We're in our first year of marriage. You know, we're praying like, God, you know, we're looking for a home. You know, we're talking about forming a family, and we have this couple. They're literally family to us, and they one day, I don't know if you remember Cisco or CJ. He used to do security here in our church, and I've known him for years. He's definitely my brother, and so you know he reaches out to me one day. He was like, hey, look, you know, Edna and I, we would like to invite you guys this Sunday because Pastor John Blondo is inviting a speaker from Iraq. I can't remember what his name was. But he was like, he's an awesome guy, and I want you guys to come through. So I was like, you know,
either David Popovici or Neil Brewer.
It might have been Popovici.
Okay,
it might have been him. Yeah. So we go, you know, and I'm hearing, you know, first of all, I love the worship. I love the atmosphere, you know, and how the church is so like multicultural, you know.
That's I think that's one of our strengths, bro.
Oh, bro. What? I mean, 100%. I mean, I came in here and I was like, what? I mean, am I in heaven?
You can find every nationality.
Exactly.
Dude, literally every nationality, you know,
here.
right? You find everybody here, you know, and I was like, yo, this is dope. I mean, how I never knew about this, you know? So long story short, you know, I heard Popovici preaching, you know, and he preached an awesome message, you know, and then, you know, JB, Pastor John Blount took his part, you know, and he always keeps it short, you know, he keeps it under 5 minutes, you know, and, then he does the closing prayer, what have you. And within those 5 minutes that he was talking, keep in mind, I didn't know he was the senior pastor. Mm-hmm. He started speaking, and I leaned over to CJ, and I was like, yo, who's that? He was like, oh, he's the senior pastor. I was like, what? He was like, yeah. I was like, yo, this guy, he spits fire. This guy is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
And that was just 5 minutes.
Wait a second. So you're telling me that you came for the main event, and then the thing after got you hooked.
Got me hooked.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? I mean, and I was like, dude, I'm sold. So my wife and I, we spoke afterwards, like, you know, let's start going to their services. And I think the following Sunday, I think Pastor John Blondo, he wasn't there. And for some reason, I believe, Carrie wasn't there. Pastor Carrie wasn't there married. They went away somewhere, and you guys took over worship. You, Adrian, and the team, right?
Okay.
So this is actually like my first time being in the main level, and just watching you guys do your thing,
right?
You know, and this is coming from a person who used to be part of a worship team at another church, at a Hispanic church. So I'm coming to an American church, and I'm watching you guys up there, and I'm gonna be honest with you, you guys blessed my life. I don't know if I ever told you that. You guys just blew me away, man. And it's not because I'm here on this podcast, I promise you. But you guys definitely blew me away, you know. And I felt God's presence. My wife can tell you, she felt God's presence while you guys were leading worship. And I can honestly tell you, that worship, I think it went past the normal time, because that's how good it was.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in tears. My wife was in tears throughout the worship. And we looked over at each other, and without words, we just knew. We knew this was home.
We didn't have to say anything.
We didn't have to say anything, you know. So, I mean, 5 years now, you know, 5 years later, we're still here. You know, 3 kids later, you know, we're here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and like I said, you guys have been such a blessing to our lives, to my kids. You know, my daughter and my son look forward to coming here, you know, and learning, you know, and I have my 8-month-old who's starting to crawl, you know, and he's going to learn. He's going to get to know everybody, you know, and Uncle Rue and Uncle Drew.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just, you could feel the family, you know, like you can just, you can feel it, you know, in the church. So I greatly appreciate that, you know, and like I said, I mean, that's something it's really hard to come around to, you know.
Right.
But yeah, that's basically, I mean, as far as coming out here, I thank CJ, and I was like, you guys, thank you for inviting us, you know, because I mean, it's definitely it was in God's will. It was definitely in God's divine will.
Yeah. And Cisco and Edno, they were a huge part of the church too.
Oh yeah.
Before they moved, of course.
Right.
They moved, and we deeply missed them. He was part of the security team.
Yes.
Yeah.
But man, wow, man, that's a powerful testament to how powerful worship can be.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Because just from the worship that on that day, you without words, you already knew.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
that's how the ministry of worship can be so powerful like that.
Yeah.
And you said you were a worship leader in another church, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, like, your experience as a worship leader. Like, what does it mean to like lead worship, or like what is worship? Start with that.
Yeah. I mean,
and then
absolutely.
what does it mean to lead worship for you, like in your experience?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can honestly tell you, it all started, and I'll try to keep it as short as I can. It all started when I was literally about 10, 11 years old. My dad decided to start learning how to play piano, and he, slowly but surely he started, like, he formed a band, and these guys were one of his like best friends. A guy who was nasty on the electric guitar, and the other guy played the guitar, and then you had a drummer, a bass player, and we're talking about like the early 90s, mid 90s, and
I wasn't even born yet.
I know. But it's crazy because at that time I'm listening to these guys and I'm like, yo, these guys sound amazing. I mean, like in the mid 90s, I was already like 10 years old, so for them to capture my attention that way, I already knew music was in me already. I already knew something that this was bound to come out, so there's this Christian artist, Christian singer. His name is Marcus Witt, right? So Marcus Witt is very well known in the Hispanic culture, Christian culture, and he's very well known, and he's actually sung with a lot of other people as well. But point being is that my dad, whenever I used to watch concerts of Marcus Witt, my dad was like, I used to point to the TV and I was like, Daddy, I'm gonna be like him one day, and I was already 10. I was 11 years old, so my dad was like, all right, we'll see what happens. So he started teaching me how to play piano. At some point he didn't think I would be able to because I'm left-handed. But,
hey man, shout out to, I'm a lefty too,
Yo,
bro.
I'm outnumbered right here.
Pastor John is a lefty too.
Look at that.
Oh, come on.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm the only right-handed person here. I feel
Oh,
excluded.
yeah.
And I'm on the couch by myself. Like,
you know what, man? Why don't you just, there's the
yeah,
door right
all right.
How about you just leave,
thank
man?
you guys so much for having me.
No. No, man, but just to know that my dad, not knowing, he was paving the way for me.
Right.
He was definitely paving the way for me, and not knowing what I was gonna be able to do. And throughout my teen life, my teen years, in my 20s, I met a lot of people that I partnered with and I ministered with, and I went to other events to worship with them, and God was just started doing stuff, not only in their lives, but in my life, so it's crazy how God is, right? He starts like the network, he starts connecting you with people,
Definitely.
And not knowing that you're going to be with these people for a season, and then you're going to move on to the next chapter in your life, and then the next chapter in your life. And then I'm here, I'm here in Bethlehem. And like I said, I'm part of this amazing team, and I was just enjoying it, and when I was a worship leader, it was a big responsibility, because you're over here. Not only are you leading the team, but you're leading the congregation, so I always knew that I'm not here to perform. I'm here to be grateful, to give everything that I have of me, so I always,
you're ushering those people into the presence of God.
That's right.
Exactly.
Because I was always taught by my father, there's a difference between performing and a difference between worshiping, and you're not here to perform, you're here to worship, so that always stuck with me. He was like, so whether one day you decide to have a girlfriend or one day you decide, to start talking to a girl, do not get distracted because you're singing. Do not get distracted.
Oh, he's such a good singer.
He's
a musician. He plays the keyboard.
I still remember that advice, and I remember this actually.
That's really good advice.
Yeah,
bro.
man. Yo, and my dad he was strict. He was that person that he was like, I don't want you on the keys or holding a mic if you don't have a tie. If you're not wearing a tie, if you're not wearing, a button down and some nice slacks at least and some shoes. So that was back in the day when I was 15, 16 years old, you know. So I respected that. I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. So you know, of course I listened, you know.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, it was being once I became a worship leader, and they gave me that position at my old church. I knew it was a big responsibility, and I was up for it. You know, I was looking forward to it because it's something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So to know that I can pray with my team, get them ready spiritually, you know, at least be united, be in unison, you know.
That's one of the biggest things, man.
Exactly. And that's something, like I said, going back to speaking about you guys, that's what I saw. I saw unity when you guys were up there on the altar. And that's something that, you know, unfortunately not many churches have. Yeah. You know, so to know that, you know, that's something I always try to implement with my old team, you know, that unity is important, unity is key. You know, having a relationship with God on your own time is key, so that when we come together, it's something powerful. You know, it's something that is just going to blow this roof off. You know why? Because we're putting God in first place. Right. You know, so I mean, just to know that I came here, you know, and, you know, it's funny because in many churches, you know, they like dimming down the lights. They bring out the LED lights, and
try to create an atmosphere, or like to manufacture.
Seems more like a concert to me.
Right. And, you know, and like to each their own, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Much respect to those
Nothing
who do that.
wrong with it.
Right. Exactly. But when I came here, I saw none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I saw none of that. And even still, you felt God's presence, you know, and that's something that I told my wife, I appreciate that so much, you know, and I respect that, and I want to be a part of that, you know. And then I came in, we got here in 2017, August 2017, and I didn't start singing with them till, like, I want to say October, November, you know, because I wanted to give myself some time, you know, and just grasping and just taking it all in, you know. And but then at some point I was like, nah, I gotta be a part of this, man. I gotta be a part of this team, you know. And I remember Carrie and I think it was around September, October, he started announcing that he wants to form a choir for Christmas, right? So I don't know if you remember that Sunday. Remember that Sunday when I went up to sing? I don't know if you remember that. But he was like doing tryouts. I don't know if that's the right word to
I think so. Yeah.
So
he does do like tryouts to kind of gauge where you are and where to place you.
Right. So I remember I went that Sunday after service. We all stood back, you know, and he called me to go up. And that for me is not so much that I was nervous. It was more of like, wow, am I worthy? You know, and I know I mean, you guys take that as, you know, however you guys take it, you know, but I was like, you know what? I saw you guys, and I saw your humbleness, and I saw how God uses you guys, and I saw how much you guys give to the Lord. So I was like, wow, man, it really humbled me, you know. And I'm not trying to gas you up or anything. I don't think that, but it was a humble experience, you know. So when I went up there and Carrie started playing, and I started singing, I was like, you know, God, this is for you, and what have you, you know. And I felt so good afterwards, you know. And little by little, you know, I started singing on Sundays and on Wednesdays, you know, and it became such a blessing to be a part of this family, you know, and to know that I'm still a part of this family, you know, and to know that this is something that can go on as long as we want it to, you know.
And just to add on to the amount of impact, because Josh, you know, this is really like my first time really formally meeting you. You're a cool guy. I've seen you around up there. But just to say, like, when we're behind that media board and Rube is always training me, and you go up there and he's like, this is his next song. I'm like, yeah, let's bring this guy up there. Just like let's go.
Man, nothing like Josh's voice, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Lord,
I knew it. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
It's crazy, man.
Nah, yeah, it is, man. It's a blessing, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember when I started going on my wife, I told her, you know what? I literally, it was, I think when 1 week her and I were already going out, and I was like, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know you're my girlfriend, but once I'm up there, I have the mic, I forget everything, and I just focus on on God, and I'm gonna give him 100%. You know, so if you see me sweating and crying, you know, and like all on the floor and everything, it's because I'm giving him my all. I'm giving him 100%. You know, So
just play, I'm okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
and I'm
like,
okay.
Like,
You know?
you don't have to call anybody.
You
It's
don't-
all right.
Yeah.
I'm not sad.
Yeah.
You know, and the funny part, side note, the funny part my wife always brings up, to my attention is that she was like, you know what I noticed? I noticed that I've only seen you cry in God's presence.
That's powerful.
I've never seen you cry in other situations or whatever it may be, but I've noticed that when you're up there, you're literally bawling and it's like you're a baby. And I was like, yeah,
That's
because this who we're worshiping. This
Right.
is Jesus. This is the person that woke me up this morning.
even
I
your
was like,
tears are worship, bro.
I'm telling you, man, come on.
Even your very tears, bro.
Yeah, man. So I mean,
it's amazing, man. And there's a flow,
Yeah.
when you're flowing in the spirit,
yeah,
and when there's like the leadership from top down, and everything is just flowing in the spirit.
yeah,
It's amazing, bro. What
yeah,
like how you could feel the presence of God,
yeah.
whether you're playing, because we both play keyboard.
Yes,
When we're playing keyboard, or if when I was playing guitar,
right.
there's literally a flow. Like Pastor Kyrie would just look at me, and I'm like, I know where he's going.
Yeah,
Like, we have that same connection. Like
Yeah.
whenever I was playing guitar, you were playing keyboard.
yeah.
It's like we just kind of look at each other, and
Right.
there's just a flow,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not just being a skilled musician.
Yeah,
It's literally in the spirit.
yeah,
So and just being able, it's really a privilege, like you said, bro.
yeah.
It's a privilege, but it's also it's a responsibility, and and it's really important to be living right.
Right. And speaking of responsibility, one thing my wife could definitely back me up on this is when I'm home and I always make time to worship with my kids. Always.
Oh, that's fun.
That's amazing,
Right.
bro.
So I blast, I get on Spotify or I get on YouTube, and with my 3 kids, my 3 kids, we take at least a good half hour. 20 minutes to a half hour.
That's great, bro.
And
Wow.
we just dance around the living room and we
that's-
just worship. You know why? Because I just don't know what God has in store for them. So at least I want them to see what God has given me. And if this is something that they see themselves doing as they get older, then you know what? God is preparing them now, for that.
Through you.
Through me.
You're a
Wow.
steward.
Exactly.
Wow.
Just like how your dad
Yes.
lit you on fire
That's right.
through God, and just instilled you with that gift. It's
Yeah.
like that's something that you're doing for them, and it also that's amazing, bro, because it's not just I worship when I go to church.
Right.
Right.
I worship when I'm at home. And
Mhm.
my parents don't just worship at home, or my dad doesn't just worship when he's up there on the platform.
That's right.
It's
He's
not a performance,
worshiping
man.
at home.
That's right.
And that will speak volumes to a kid,
Right.
to a child growing up, and when they see that, when they
Right.
experience like this is literally a part of our life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like you're already setting them up, bro, for amazing things in God.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, I mean, and that was, going back, that's basically the responsibility that I have now as a parent.
right.
Not only as a worshiper, but as a parent, I have that responsibility. It's my duty to instill these kids, to implement what I have and everything that I've been taught into their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's, first of all, it's an honor, it's a blessing, it's my passion, it's what God has given me.
Oh yeah.
So of course I'm gonna give it to these kids.
Right.
So I'm excited to see. I mean, my daughter, Andrea can tell you, that's my wife's name, by the way. Andrea can tell you, there are days when my daughter is just walking around and she just starts singing,
Wow.
but
Wow.
songs that I've never heard. So she's making up stuff. She's just making up
Wow.
songs. I'm like, God, this is amazing. I mean, what
It
are you
is.
doing?
It really is.
Yeah. And then my son is following her and just like humming with her, So I was like, God, you're doing something, and I'm just going with it,
Oh.
So yeah.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is incredible, bro. And that's something that's been on my heart personally, not only for myself or for anyone around me, because obviously I'm not a dad yet, And I expect
He's going to be a good one.
Definitely.
worship and musicianship and instruments, all that's gonna be a deep part of
Oh,
Bro, this
absolutely.
guy,
My
this guy's
family.
gonna have a dedicated room. He's
Oh,
gonna have
I
like
mean-
6 pianos. he's so good at that.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going over. We're definitely going over.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be crazy.
But that's been on my heart, man, for real life. And I've told JG this, and I've spoke to him about really instilling a passion for worship, playing instrument, expressing yourself through music to worship God in real life.
Yeah, that's right.
And so if you're a kid listening to this right now, let's say you're in high school, you're in junior high school, you always wanted to learn an instrument, or maybe you're a parent listening to this and you want your child to start playing an instrument or singing or learning, but you don't know where to start, come to us at Real Life.
Yes.
Me, Josh, anyone that's on the team. A lot of the Real Life team is on the worship team.
Yes. Yeah.
We all sing, we all participate in some way in worship. And look, even the soundboard, all that is literally worship.
Yes.
Right.
It's
It
not
functions
just
as one.
music. It's not just all that, even though it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But it all works together, because what if I'm not doing well on the soundboard and you can't hear the singer? That's
Exactly.
or like I'm not mixing it well when I'm at the soundboard.
It's a communal thing.
It's affecting the way it's ushering the congregation into the presence of God. So it's like everything comes together.
Exactly.
Right? So if you guys are interested in worship and learning, just come to us, because you're in good hands. We want to teach you. We will give up our time. We will give up our energy, and we won't ask for a dime. But we just want to see a generation raised up with a passion to worship God in whatever way.
Exactly. And take it from a guy who has not learned to play an instrument and grew up that way. You want to do that. And like,
never too late.
Yeah, you still have time, bro.
I didn't actually think about this before the podcast, and it's crazy. But I remember this one time where we were I don't know if we were celebrating something, but we were at your crib, right? And we just started worshiping. You busted out your guitar. Brandon was there. He was on the keys. You guys, and we were just doing like fun little like rap stuff and putting things together.
Right.
And then you were like, you know what? Let's put up those lyrics. And all of us just started communally worshiping in your room.
I love those moments, man.
It's something I had never experienced. It was so jarring for me. But when we started doing it, it's like, I've never experienced this before. This is crazy.
I remember
and
that,
I love
bro.
that, bro.
I remember that.
That's
dope.
I'm surprised that stuck with you like that.
Yeah, it really did. It was so surprising. It was so it felt so deviating from what we had been doing the whole day, but at the same time, it felt so natural. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And look, guys, even if we don't teach you to be like prodigies, right? Because I'm no prodigy, right? But I have a passion to worship God, right?
Exactly.
And whatever I do, I always give my best.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But if we can just spark the passion for you, and you take it and you run with it.
Come on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Just like how your dad, I'm sure he didn't teach you everything that you knew right now.
That's right.
But he gave you the inspiration.
That's right.
And once he showed you that you were able to do it, he gave you that, he presented that to you, and then God did the rest.
Yes.
And you did the rest through practice and learning on your own and doing what you had to do. So this is there's so much you can go into the depths of worship, bro.
Oh yeah, I mean, what? I mean, we can. I can go on and on about worship. I mean, let's talk about David. I mean, let me just stop, man.
Bro, bust out this Bible right now.
But yeah, man, we just thank you, bro. Thank you for coming on here.
Sure,
we can't possibly I just want to keep talking and talking and talking.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
But this has been incredible, bro. We're gonna have you back.
Oh yes, please.
When we have events at Real Life and we're worshiping and we got a worship set, you're a part of that. You already know.
Yeah, the next time you see Josh, will be at Real Life playing something. we don't know what, but it's gonna be there. He's just gonna be singing in the middle of the court while everybody's playing ball.
That's it. Yeah, just watch me. It's okay.
So we thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Real Life. Stay tuned in. If you're a student, we'll see you this coming Friday. It's been incredible, and yeah, peace out, guys. We love you guys. Peace.
Peace.